trying to get that office established right here in Murray County, so we'll see what kind of outcome we have when we get when Mickey gets back, and he'll call us and let us know exactly what happened. Also, while we got you on the thought of the Commerce Department, as you know, we did get our Community Development Block Grant here in Sulphur. We've got a lady named Brenda Lynn will be here Monday to meet with the representatives of the city of Sulphur and discuss specific details on the grant. Her name is Brenda Lynn. She has agreed to come by the studio after the meeting with the city people here at the City Hall Monday, so we'll be visiting with her. She is with the Commerce Department, and she has been helping us on that block grant, so we'll be visiting with Brenda on the 12:30 news Monday. We'll let you know exactly what takes place during their meeting. Now let's talk football just a little bit. As you know, we've got some regional games coming up right here in this area that's going to be very important to all schools. We got the Sulphur team will be traveling to Blanchard. This is a landmark game. Jim says this is the key. We've got to win this game to go on and take district or be a share in the district. And as you know, Davis will be going to Wynnewood, and that's going to be a real fine ball game. And then Pauls Valley is going to play unbeaten Marlowe, and that'll be out at Marlowe, so there'll be two undefeated teams going in there. We got an interview with Jim Dixon on the game that he's going to be having this Friday with Blanchard, so let's watch that interview at this time.
The Big O, once again, was one of my favorite people. Head coach of the Sulphur Bulldogs, Jim Dixon. We're down here at Sulphur High, standing outside and going to talk about last Friday night, when I think, from my viewpoint, that the Bulldogs played one of the best games of the season. Coach, what's your reflections on last Friday?
Well, I was real proud of the kids. I thought, I thought we were playing a good football team, and still do. You know, a team that lost 2 ball games, and that was 7 in overtime, 7-0 to Marlowe, who's 8-0, and lost with 40 seconds left on a long run to Pauls Valley, 19-14, who's 8-0. So we felt like we were playing an excellent football team. And we went out there and, pretty well dominated the football game. So I was really pleased with the intensity the kids showed and the execution that we had both on offense, defense, and in the kicking game.
Well, we were very, very impressed up in the box. And may I say to the fans now that the reason we didn't get that one on tape, BJ was called out of town. Our other cameraman was sick, and I was the only one left, and BJ said that I didn't know how to run the camera, so that, that was the reason. But we're going to have the rest of them. We hope that we're going to get everybody healed up and in the camera crew, and we can get them back on tape. And sorry we missed that one, because I do think it was one of the better games of the year.
Yeah, it was a real good ball game. I mean, it was. I'm sure it was a lot of fun to watch. Of course, being coaching it, you don't have a whole lot of time to enjoy one really, and it's kind of like preaching, I guess.
That's true.
But, it was a great game for us. It really was.
Okay, now let me ask a question at this point, again, from a layman's point of view. As I understand it, the top 4 teams in the district will go to the playoffs.
Yeah, the top, there's 8 teams in the district. The top 4 go to the playoffs, and the first and second place teams get the home field advantage.
So then that means, if I understand it and look at it right, at this point we are in the playoffs.
Well, more than likely we are. There are some circumstances. If we was to lose the last 2 ball games and get beat bad, we could be out.
Okay, but that would be decided on a point basis.
Yeah, on points, because we tie with other teams, so it'd be decided on points. And that's why I say if we got beat bad, then we can be out of it. So, what we got to do is not be satisfied with just being in. I mean, here's what it comes down to.
Now, wait a minute. Let me ask my second question, because I know what you're going to say. Now, right now, if everything goes well, and I'm sure, I believe with all of my soul we're going to win the next 2, and there'll be no question. Now, if we do win the next 2, and if Marlowe beats Pauls Valley, can the Bulldogs still be district champs?
Yeah, if we take care of our business and we beat Blanchard, then when we play Marlowe the next week, we're playing for first or second, depending on what Marlowe and Pauls Valley do. If Marlowe beats Pauls Valley and we beat Blanchard, then us and Marlowe playing for the district championship. And right now on points we're ahead, so it'd come down, if we beat Marlowe, then it'd be a 3-way tie between Marlowe and Pauls Valley and Sulphur. and we'd win it on points, because right now we're way ahead on point differentiation.
Okay, now explain just briefly to me what you mean by points.
Well, in every district game you keep up with, you can win by a maximum of 20 points. If you beat a team 20-0, you get a plus 20, the other team gets a minus 20. If you win in overtime, you get either a +1 or a -1. I mean, you just get 1 point for overtime wins. So by right now, I think we got 77 points, and Marlowe has 55, and Pauls Valley has 57, something like that. But we got a loss. See, we got to have some help to win it. But what we got to do, and I talked to our kids about all this yesterday, and we got all that out of our system, thinking about what was going on. What we got to do right now is beat Blanchard. We don't beat Blanchard, we don't play for first or second. Simple as that.
Okay, well, that's a point well taken. And in order to beat Blanchard, we got to go to Blanchard and play them up there.
Yeah, and they're real hard to beat at Blanchard. I mean, to me, going to Blanchard and beating them up there is going to be, it's going to be a big task in itself. And last year, when we played them down here, we had a great game, and they had a bad game, and we beat them pretty good, and I'm sure they remember that. And right now, Blanchard's playing awful well. They've won 3 out of their last 4 games to put them back in the district race. And, they've won 3 and lost 2 in the district. They lost to Frederick at Frederick in a close ball game, and they lost to Marlowe 7-0 late in the game. So that's their 2 district losses. In the last 2 weeks, they've beaten Purcell and Comanche. And they beat Purcell at Purcell last week, and you don't see Purcell get beat at home very often.
Well, that means that we've truly got our work cut out for us. What do you expect? What do they got? They got a quarterback that can throw, that's fast. They got big running backs. What are you looking for?
Well, the biggest asset that Blanchard has is their size and physical toughness on defense. They got the best, and I mean this now, they got the best defensive team we've seen all year. It'd be close between them and Davis and Wynnewood, I think. I think those 3 teams are real close defensively. But I'd say their front 7 is the best that we've seen all year. They're big, they're strong, they're quick, they're real aggressive, and I mean, they get after you. And physically they can match up with us better than anybody else in the district. So up front, they're going to give us problems. And offensively, they run the veer offense, and they run it real well, and they got their quarterback back that they had missing early in the year, and he's running the option real well, and they got a real good running back named Ramey Brooks. That's about a 185-pounder that's about 6'2" and can go and is a real fine athlete, and their kicking game's real solid. So, to me, that they got an excellent team. They've lost 4 games real close. Davis beats them close. Davis has a good ball club. Newcastle beats them by 1 point, and Newcastle has a real fine team. And like I said, Frederick beat them at Frederick, and Marlowe beats them 7-0 late at Blanchard. So, they're 4-4, but they're kind of like us. They've lost some good ball clubs. It's going to be a heck of a ball game for sure.
All right, folks, I wanted to, Coach, get into that because of one thing, and we say this every week, but it's very, very important. We need that 12th man. We need the fans in the stands.
Yeah, we need some people up there. We'd like to have a bunch of people, because people need to understand that this is the biggest game so far this year that we've played. I mean, by far the biggest, and it's a crossroads in our season. It's a pivotal game, and we need to win it. Right now we're playing real well. Our kids have got a lot of intensity that probably early in the year they didn't realize what that really was, and right now we're playing real well. But we got to keep getting better every game, every practice. We got to get better, or we've lost something. So, we'd like to have everybody we can up there at Blanchard and yelling and screaming and helping our kids, because this is a big, big ball game for us.
Don't think these are idle words, sports fans, from the Big O and from Coach Dixon and from all of us around. We need you. We need that 12th man. You think it didn't make a difference in the Homer Dome with the Twins and all that noise up there? The same thing will happen at Blanchard Friday night, 7:30 kickoff, right. And we need you up there, Coach.
You bet. We'd like to have everybody there because, like I said, we need this ball game bad.
All right. The Big O, Oscar Wilkie, along with Coach Dixon and B.J. Fields. We're going to be following the Bulldogs Friday night. We're going to look for you. Hey, keep swinging.
Well, for you Sulphur fans now, there's your invitation to attend a ball game that's going to be good. That will be at Blanchard. Channel 7 will be televising that ball game. Now we've got one coming up over at Wynnewood too. We talked with Coach Holloway yesterday on the phone. We went over today and got an interview with Mickey Hoy, and we'll be showing that interview right after this commercial message.
Never before has meat and bun.
You can cut the time it takes to make a burger.
Autos, shoes, and convertibles.
You can cut the time it takes to cook one.
Hamburger.
And in the end, you can cut the heart right out of a burger. All in the name of good business. Well, at Hardee's, we put a little extra care into each hamburger we serve so we can make this cut in the name of good taste. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
At Hardee's in Sulphur, we're out to win you over. Mayo's Office Supply in Sulphur has everything under the sun for your office supply needs, such as Smith Corona electronic typewriters, Sharp calculators, Southwestern Bell phones, Minolta and Ricoh copiers, and most important, a complete service department. We also have quick print service for all your business form needs. We have stationery, cards, gifts, party supplies, and Grumbacher art supplies, all under one roof. Mayo's Office Supply in Sulphur.
Your home is filled with possessions, including the most treasured possession of all, your family. Something your independent insurance agent never forgets. Independent agents represent several companies, not just one, so they can offer you the right insurance at the right price. Whether it's homeowners and car insurance to protect the things that can be replaced, or health and life insurance to protect the things that can't be.
For all your insurance needs, see me, Danny Hilliard, your independent agent at the Murray County Insurance Agency in Sulphur.
Folks, let me give you a little background of this game we're going to have at Wynnewood Friday when Davis moves over there. Wynnewood beat Velma Elma, who was unbeaten at the time, 49-0. That was last Friday. Wynnewood sits right now with one loss, and that come at Pauls Valley in the first of the season. Jim Holloway, the coach over at the Wynnewood team, said they fumbled that ball 6 times in that game, and he contributes that to his loss to the Pauls Valley team. And as you know, Pauls Valley's undefeated at this time. The Davis will be taking in an undefeated season also as they go into Wynnewood. And so there's going to be a shootout between the second place Wynnewood and the first place Davis over there Friday night, and this is going to be a very, very important game. We did get an interview with Coach Hoy this morning, so let's watch Mickey at this time. Well, Mickey, first we better let people know that you do kind of have a little laryngitis this morning, don't you, or something's wrong with your throat?
Yeah, I'm a little choked up.
Well, I know you have to talk to youngsters all day in and out, Mickey. How you going to do that with a bad throat?
I guess I won't.
Well, let's talk football a little bit anyway. Hey, y'all had a real good game against Colorwall and Coach Cole. Can you recap that a little bit for us?
Yeah, we played well. And the kicking game really broke the game open. They played hard. They've got a pretty good little football team. And Coach Cole told me after the game that their kids had played about as hard as they had all year, and they were really disappointed with that, with the outcome, and I understand that.
Didn't you tell me that he's kind of on a rebuilding year anyway, Mick?
Yeah, well, they're down. I don't know whether it's a rebuilding or whether they're coming up or coming down. I don't know his program, but they're down a little bit from what they have been.
Coach Cole's a fine individual. I met him a couple of years ago and really enjoyed talking to him. Mickey, I was in contact with Jim Holloway yesterday about the game coming up Friday, and one thing that impressed me when he said he had a lot of respect for you and the Davis Wolves. So what are you looking for this Friday with Jim and his boys?
Well, of course, they've got a fine football team. There's not much secret about that. Anytime you can attract the kind of attention that someone would say it's one of the big games in the state, and then I'm sure there are a lot of big games around. But that lets you know the kind of programs that exist at both schools. Good game every time Wynnewood and Davis play.
Did you notice how bad they beat Velma Elma? I wouldn't have dreamed that, would you?
They beat VA?
45-0.
About 48-0.
Yeah, 48. Well, have you got anything that you're going to try to change, Mickey, or are you just going out and play the same type of football you've been doing all year?
Hope so.
You don't have any additional things you're going to try to do against them?
I'm not going to tell you. Let me go there.
I won't tell him.
We're going to dance when the one that brung us. You know, we're going to do what we've been doing.
You got everybody healthy?
No, we don't. We're starting split in Jimmy Brown and will not play, and we've got some bumps and bruises that happened in practice this week. But I think everybody that makes it there is going to try to play. I don't know whether I'll be able to tape up and throw.
Well, that'd be something else, wouldn't it, if you couldn't talk during the game? Well, Mickey, we're looking forward to it, and I noticed the Daily Oklahoman picked this the game of the week, and I was talking to Coach Whaley over at Blanchard just a little bit ago. They're going to play Sulphur, and Paul Valley and Marlowe's going to play, so you can drive just about any direction around here, and you can find a good ball game, can't you?
Yes, sir, that's right.
It's getting down close to the district playoffs, just winding down. Well, Mickey, we're going to be there to televise that game, so we wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope Friday afternoon you're still undefeated.
I do too.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you.
Mickey was feeling all right. He just had a little laryngitis in his throat, and he just got back to the doctor. But other than that, he's feeling all right. But we did make it a little bit short today so Mickey wouldn't have to be straining his voice, because he is going to have to be well tomorrow night when he gets over to Wynnewood. Folks, while we were at Davis today, Fern McKee has got her music group geared up again, and they're going to have another music show starting here in the near future. So we'll be watching Fern's interview right after this commercial message.
Cooper Auto Stores of Sulphur and Davis announced the arrival of the new Hoover Double Duty Wet Dry Handbag. It's here, it's new, and it's fantastic. At Hoover, we keep making it better. This handy vacuum can save the day when the inevitable happens in your household. Look how easy the Hoover Wet Dry Vac gobbles up those hard-to-clean spills on countertops, floors, and even carpet. It's quick, it's easy, it's dependable quality from Hoover. The Hoover Double Duty 300 is available for only $29.95 from your Hoover dealer in Murray County, Cooper's in Sulphur and Davis.
How can you survive in Chicago without the great Chicago magazine? There's too much to see, too much to do.
Robert Elliott Burns.
Prison is for punishment.
For almost a quarter century, a fugitive from a Georgia chain gang.
I bust your chains to set you free. No.
His two daring escapes.
I'm so glad you're alive and free.
An extraordinary true story.
The Yankee editor.
Shattered the chains of a brutal prison system forever.
Shoot to kill.
HBO Pictures presents Val Kilmer, Charles Durney, the man who broke 1,000 chains. There is no chain strong as the will to survive. Premieres Saturday.
I'm gonna get you, Bert! And that's a promise!
Come and enjoy fine family dining at the Catfish Kitchen in Davis. Feast on fresh catfish fillets, fresh shucked oysters from Louisiana, and some of the best seafood you can get in southern Oklahoma. We take pride in our senior citizens with a 10% discount every day. That's the Catfish Kitchen, just 1 block north of the stoplight in Davis.
Fern McKee over at Davis School System, folks, does a wonderful job with those youngsters, and I know she puts in a lot of long, hard hours, and a lot of the teachers do also. But this will be one of Fern's very first musical programs this year. It's going to be taped, and we will try to show that back possibly tomorrow night, but just watch the call line on Channel 7, and we'll try to get to that when we possibly can. But we did get to talk to Fern this morning, so let's watch your interview now. Your very first music show, and it's going to be when?
It's tonight at 7 o'clock here in the auditorium.
What all can we be expecting tonight?
Well, this is 5th grade, and then the middle school and high school, and the executives too. They're the show group we've got. And it's about an hour, maybe a little longer than an hour performance.
Okay, then what time is it going to take place?
What time? It's at 7 tonight.
Okay, now a lot of people don't understand how they get into that auditorium. Fern, can you kind of give us a little direction? Or
Probably not.
what's this street right here that it's facing? This one right here, is that 2nd Street? Okay.
2nd.
Then they just come in
Right,
the west door.
That's the 4th.
Okay, Neil says it's 4th, so...
I don't know what street it is. I just know where it is.
But the main thing is they come to the west side of the high school.
Right.
Into the auditorium.
Into the auditorium.
And it's at 7 o'clock.
It's at 7 o'clock.
Is there any charge on it?
50 cents for students and $1 for adults.
Okay. How many youngsters do you have in your singing groups this year?
Well, altogether we'll have about 80. No, close to 100 kids in this one tonight.
And this is the very first one for this school year, isn't it?
It's the very first concert, yes.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of people in this area, especially the executives, they're outstanding. They really perform well. Well, listen, Fern, we appreciate visiting with you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Folks, that will be worth your time if you can show up for that now. It'll be tonight. It's starting at 7 o'clock, and like we were trying to figure out where it is, it's on 4th Street. It's on the west side of the school building there, and the door's right in the center there. Go on in and enjoy some beautiful music. Folks, we went out to the Senior Citizens building the other day. Minnie Lau invited us out. She was telling us about a couple of new benches that they were getting. It seems that Jim's Grocery and Shine Maid got together, and I think Jim's Grocery bought the lumber, and the Shine Maid people built them. In fact, I think Jim Henderson is that guy helping Jim Britt there. That's Jim on your left, and that's Tim Henderson on your right. Tim built them. They built them out of lumber that will last. It's treated lumber, so it'll last from now on, more than likely. They're real comfortable. They did an outstanding job on them. They sanded them down, and they're real good benches. But there's Jim, Minnie Lau, Sue Pettit, and Jim Henderson right there on the extreme right. He's the one that helped Jim get all that together. But they are real nice benches. Thanks to Jim's Grocery out here west of town and Shine Maid, the Senior Citizens Building's got 2 brand new, heavy-duty, comfortable benches. Folks, we got to talk to Jerry Don Fullerton today. I was trying to get a hold of Jerry to see if he was going to be able to make that meeting that they're having today over at Ardmore with the governor. And Jerry said he did know for sure he was going to try to get back on his feet and go on down this afternoon. He said he had to go back to the doctor next Tuesday, and at that time the doctor would tell him to either go back to work or go back to bed. However, Jerry is doing a little exercising now. He's been riding his bike a couple of days. He says he goes about 2 miles per day. He's getting a lot of his strength back. He got out today and got to go down and get a cup of coffee, but he's going to take it slow until next Tuesday. And he said if he did get to feeling better, he would try to make that meeting down there this afternoon, because it is a very important meeting for us to get that, maybe get that office here in Murray County, and that's what we're shooting for. But anyway, we're going to talk with Jerry next Tuesday when he gets back from the doctor, and we'll keep you updated on his situation over there. The Legions, now we're getting ready to have our Veterans Day Parade, as everybody knows, and the ladies of the Legion Auxiliary is furnishing the food for all members of the Legion and Auxiliary. Also, veterans and families are invited, and if you plan to come and eat with them, any of you veterans or families, you need to get in touch with one of the ladies down there, or either bring a covered dish and or a dessert. That will be at 12 noon on November the 11th, right after the parade. That's Wednesday. So if you want to get involved in that, probably it would be best if you did contact one of the ladies there with the Legion Auxiliary and work out what they really need. Maybe it's a meat dish that you need to bring if you plan on attending that. That parade is getting bigger and bigger. We're going to have a real nice parade. I think Colonel Little told us we were going to have about 120 floats. They're locked in now, and we're going to have flyovers. I found out today that we're going to have communication with the pilots. So as the pilots fly over, we're going to have communication with Channel 7. We'll be able to talk to the pilots, and you'll be able to hear them right over the radio. So I'm looking forward to that. It is getting geared up to be a big affair, though. The ACAP monthly meeting now will be November the 2nd at the Chickasaw Motor Inn. They cordially invite everybody to attend that. They're working on the children's future right here in Murray County, and they do need your help if you can possibly make that meeting. It will be at the Chickasaw Motor Inn, November the 2nd. That's next Monday, 12 noon. So show up at the ACAP meeting and get involved in their children's futures right here. We're getting ready to have a retirement party over in Davis tomorrow. 2 fine young men are going to be retiring, Charlie Ayers and Leonard Munger. They've both been with the city of Davis for a long time. They're going to get together tomorrow from 9 until 12 over at the City Hall there in Davis and have a little reception or retirement party for them. There will be refreshments. I think they're going to have chocolate cake and coffee and soft drinks. And just drop by. It's a come-and-go affair, so drop by and say goodbye to Charlie and Leonard, and then they'll be around. But they're getting ready to retire, and that's what their company's going to do for them tomorrow. We got word today that Roger Bowes, most people know Roger here in Murray County. He's just been promoted to manager of the Davis of the Ada Home Saving and Loan Association. Therefore, he and his wife, Carolyn, will be moving to Ada. They've got 2 small children also. I think they're in Collinsville right now. So we'll try to get Roger in the studio here one of these days when he comes over to visit and talk to him a little bit about his new job. But he did get promoted, and they got moved to Ada, and that'll be giving them a little bit closer to home. We've got our election coming up now on November the 10th. At the present time, we are inviting some of the city councilmen and the city manager to come in and visit with us about that sales tax. So next week, we will start that. Folks, that's about all the time we have today for Channel 7 News. I'm B.J. Fields. Thank you for watching.
The Gift Corner, located inside Monjay's IGA Discount in Sulphur, is the perfect spot to find something for that special someone. From fine china to greeting cards, we've got what you're looking for. Put the Gift Corner on your shopping list the next time you're in Monjay's IGA, 1601 West Broadway. Looking for friendly banking with a smile? Well, it's right here at the First National Bank in Davis. We've been here. Card protection. The list goes on and on for first flight personal bank services at the First National Bank in Davis, the pioneer bank of Southern Oklahoma.
Folks, Neil and I have been to 3 parties this morning. The one you're looking at right now was Burford Manor over in Davis. They had the preschoolers over there entertaining those folks, doing some singing and scaring some of the elderly folks. I think we got some good sound on this, so let's listen to just a little bit of it. Folks, we got a lot more than that we'll show you later on in the newscast, but first I'd like to introduce you to Randy Williams. He's a police officer here for the city of Sulphur. We've asked Randy to come in and talk to us about some of the safety tips that's going to be needed for this Saturday night when the youngsters are out trick-or-treating. Randy, welcome to Channel 7. How long have you been on the police force here, Randy?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. Is this your hometown area?
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised
Well,
here?
right. My parents were from here, moved here in the 2nd grade.
Okay.
I was born in Dallas.
Oh, you was? Okay. Well, we'll still like you anyway. Randy, there is many, many things that I know the youngsters need to practice during this Saturday night. Can you just list some of them and list some of the most important ones for us?
Yeah, I've got a list here. I'll just read them off, and then we'll talk a little bit about
okay.
them. Okay. The first one is do not go out alone. Use sidewalks, cross streets at corners. Do not run between parked cars. In the dark, watch for hidden wires and fences between the houses. Stay in the home neighborhood. Wear light-colored clothing in the dark. Carry a flashlight if necessary. Do not enter a stranger's car or home for the promise of candy. Skip houses where porch lights are not burning. Start early and come home early. Do not eat unwrapped candy or treats. Let parents inspect them first. And most of all, report any suspicious activity or treats to the police department.
You know, Randy, one of the main things now is going to be the candy that the youngsters are picking up, and I don't think we can stress too strongly the importance of the youngsters not eating that candy until they can get their mamas and daddies to look at it. And then the other one, Randy, it looked like to me would be one of the most important is don't get in somebody's car with the promise of candy or what have you.
Yeah, that's true.
Randy, ordinarily now on Halloween nights, do y'all have additional officers out trying to patrol the streets?
Yeah, we'll have 3 or 4, maybe 5 officers, you know, and then 3 or 4 reserve officers out. So there'll be several officers. So if there's anything suspicious or any problem with the candy, then
City of Sulphur has 11 o'clock curfew. Do y'all stress this on a Saturday night now?
yeah, these younger kids, well, older ones alike, should be in 11 o'clock. You know, there's most of them, not all the candy's going to be gone by 11 o'clock anyway. So.
Well, our carnival's from 5 to 9, so actually they'll just have a couple hours after to trick or treat. And if we follow that rule there, number 9 down there, they should be out trick or treating and back by even before they have the parties over, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they could go before the carnival.
Sure, yeah, they don't. That doesn't mean they can't go before 5 o'clock. Well, Randy, in the past, have you had too many violations of the curfew, say last year?
Oh, not real bad. You know, there's some egg throwing and that sort of thing, but it's not been too bad.
How about the youngsters driving up and down the streets? Does that get pretty bad on Halloween night?
Yeah, they sure need to be careful because these little kids, you know, can dart from behind all these cars. In our residential area, we've got a lot of cars parallel parked on the side of the streets, and sure need to be careful there.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I noticed that on one of our lists we was looking at, Randy, that you wouldn't recommend that a kid carries a lantern or something because they need to carry non-flammable things and clothing with them, don't they, Randy?
Sure, the light-colored clothing would be better than maybe some fluorescent of some sort, you know, make them real visible. Like I say, some of these streets we've got, you know, don't have sidewalks and the streets are not real lit up, and they need to be careful there.
What would you recommend now to combat the maybe having foreign objects placed in candy? How would be some way that a kid could maybe tell that if the candy's been tampered with or not?
Probably the best way is just take it home and let their parents check it. Not eat anything till they get home. Just check it there.
Let the parents look at it under a good light then.
Yeah.
Well, now, I know you probably also recommend that you stay in your own neighborhood and know who you're trick-or-treating with, don't you?
Yeah, that would be a pretty smart deal. Is just go to people that you know and familiar with. Stay in your own neighborhood.
Also, one of them I was reading, Randy, that it states that if the house is not lit, if there's not lights in the house or the porch light is not on, don't even go near it. That'd be
That's
a pretty
true.
good...
The porch light is just a welcome sign for the kids to come
Sure.
in.
Mm-hmm. Well, Randy, I know you're going to be busy Saturday night. In fact, I guess at the carnival, plumb up to after midnight, you guys are going to be busy. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of enlighten us on while we got you here?
Just be careful.
And call the police station. Don't hesitate to call you guys if anybody needs any help.
We'll have plenty of officers out.
Good, okay. Randy, we appreciate you taking time out. I know you're on duty, but we appreciate you dropping by.
You're sure welcome.
Thank you very much. Folks, we got Mike Woolley in the studio, and Mike will be with us right after this commercial message.
Right now, your local Hoover dealer is really showing off, and you can see it all. Just say, "Show me that Hoover." See the Hoover Concept 1 with 7.2 amp motor, brushed edge cleaning, and it's self-propelled so it moves with ease. Get a demonstration and save just by saying,
"Show me that Hoover."
Just say, "Show me that Hoover" at Cooper Auto Stores in Sulphur and Davis and save $50 off the Hoover Concept 1. Arbuckle Sports Center is your key to boating at its best. Come see us for Evinrude and Mercury outboard motors to go on Mercruiser, Ranger, Glastron, Chaot, and Invader boats. We have a complete 5-bay service center that will keep you up and running. Keep atop of the waves on O'Brien and Conelli skis. Stop by Arbuckle Sports Center for complete hunting and fishing supplies, plus snapper lawnmowers. Arbuckle Sports Center, just east of Davis. Convenience at its best.
How can you survive in Chicago without the great Chicago magazine? There's too much to see, too much to do.
Robert Elliott Burns.
Prison is for punishment.
For almost a quarter century, a fugitive from a Georgia chain gang.
I bust your chains to set you free? No.
His 2 daring escapes.
I'm so glad you're alive and free.
An extraordinary true story.
The Yankee editor.
Shattered the chains of a brutal prison system forever.
Shoot to kill.
HBO Pictures presents Val Kilmer. Charles Durney, the man who broke 1,000 chains. There is no chain strong as the will to survive. Premieres Saturday.
I'm gonna get you, Bert! And that's a promise!
Folks, that's what we've got in the studio with us today, and we're going to be visiting with that monster in just a minute. So go ahead and sit down here, Mike, and pull that thing off. I know it's hot. Folks, we went to a party out at the VA Center today, and Mike and all of the employees out there are dressed up like Mike was here. We had the Head Start students out there with them today, and the Kiwanis Club here in Sulphur and Davis got together and got a lot of cookies. Mike, it seemed like out there all of the employees were really having a ball. Do they do this every year?
Yes, we try to do it every year out there. We try to make fun as we go along on different holidays. Of course, this is one of our favorite.
Yeah. You tell me you've been doing that for 6 years, huh?
Yes, I've been doing this werewolf costume for 6 years when I was back in Oklahoma City. I enjoy getting out there with the kids. Yeah. I usually get out there at night next to a tree and wait for them to come by and then jump them.
Here are some of the shots we got this morning now, Mike. This is the group the Head Start group that was out there this morning. Sue told me they had 50 some odd youngsters out there. They had 17 adults with them. We had all the Kiwanis clubs here in Sulphur Davis donated cookies. See the cookies there on the table to the right? We had quite a few dozen cookies for them. They went out now. They went out through your facility out there and visited each room. They also went to, a lot of them went into the rooms and sang songs, and then they prayed around. I guess they hit every floor out there, Mike, and then they would come back to the cafeteria and have their refreshments. This was the Head Start group. That's the group I like best.
Yeah, they came in, when they came up to administration office up there, I was in my office and I was waiting for them. And I came around the corner and started walking towards them with, and they all started running. I had a lot of fun with them.
Do you find that the veterans out there just love this?
Yes, they really do. They like this part. They like holidays, of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of times out there in our costumes, we have a tendency to scare them.
Yeah.
Even though we try not to. But I know sometimes they won't eat if they see you there, and they won't do this and that.
Well, I especially looked for this, Mike. I don't remember which ward it was, but as Sue McSpadden, she was leading the group in this year, and as Sue was coming into that ward, I was watching the faces of the vets laying there in their beds, and they was, they were just sitting there with no expression on their face. And as soon as the kids come in, they started smiling, nearly every one of them.
They love kids.
Yeah.
They love kids.
They like to touch them, and visit with them. And
it means a lot to them.
Yeah. I got to visit with quite a few of the old rascals out there I've known for a long time.
Well, we have, I think, just to let you know something on this, our patients, they range from about 33 years of age, Vietnam vets, to the oldest is 101. He'll be 102, I think, in another month or so.
Jim and me.
So we have a variety of veterans out there. In fact, I think about 23 of them are World War I vets still.
Well, that's great. Mike, what's your capacity right now? How many folks do you have?
Well, 176 beds.
176.
Yes.
Now, you do have some females, too, don't you?
Yes, we have about 4 females out there.
I didn't get to see any of them on this trip, but I've talked to them, before. I knew you did have some out there. Well, now that you've been administrator for a while, have you got your feet on the ground yet?
Still going, still going. It's going to take a while, but we're getting there.
Have you talked about anybody for your assistants yet?
No, I haven't heard anything on that yet. I know when applications come in, they'll go up to headquarters. I'm still anticipating another maybe 2 months before we have action on that.
That long, huh?
I hope it comes quicker, but right now.
Now, Jerry was telling me that position will be filled by people that's on board now.
We try to,
yes.
First. We give them priority. Of course, we'll open it up, but we have, of course, a lot of vacancies coming up with the other centers also.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What we've talked about before. So we try to give priority to those that are already in the system.
Mike, do you think Claremore will be, most of those positions will be filled by on-board people?
Some will. I don't know what degree they will be. They'll probably get some from all the centers, But of course, then you're in a good metropolitan area up there, so they'll be. I think it'll be pretty easy to fill their slots up there.
What I was thinking about more than anything, though, if you take somebody that's on board now, it would help get that Claremore and the others established.
With their experience
Yeah,
and the systems that we're already used to.
Sure.
Yeah, I imagine they will be doing some of that.
That's good.
From the various centers.
I know you've been having quite a few meetings out at the center. Have y'all, can you bring us up to date on any of the policies or changes?
Well, we're looking at probably about 6 priorities. It deals with, we're looking at even AIDS, developing policy on that, do not resuscitate, things like this that we're trying to, at the next commissioners meeting, start laying groundwork on how we're going to bring in this and treat it and all this. So there's a lot of things we're working on in that. And I imagine that in the next month or so we'll develop some policy and procedures to bring in certain patients into our center.
Mike, are you going to have any additional special type equipment for the AIDS end of this thing?
Oh, sure. There will have to be, of course, training for it. Pretty much what we have right now in hand, of course, we would treat everybody, you know, with our infection control that we have, our gloves and all this. It's pretty much a standard policy right now. We just have to develop certain guidelines in which we can bring in certain other types of patients. We don't know how we're going to do that yet.
Okay.
It could be, we're looking at, I know Mr. Stewart has talked about developing a special task force in which to study this and make sure that we can identify and bring in certain types of patients. We may have them in one center, like maybe in Claremore. We have to utilize our resources and our personnel in order to treat these certain types of patients that have certain contagious diseases. And I know that the task force we have developed right now will probably, I'm looking at another 2 months before we can develop something more, you know, definitive right there that we can have certain policy and procedures developed. But I imagine that in the next 2 months we'll have something.
Are we about the first VA affairs in the States, in the United States doing that?
I think there's one in Iowa that's doing something on this line, but Oklahoma will be really developing the pilot program.
Good.
That I feel will be used throughout the United States even.
Well,
there is nothing right now in Oklahoma, no nursing homes that will, to my knowledge, accept people with AIDS and other types of contagious diseases.
Well, Mike, it would make sense, though, to accumulate those patients in one area, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a lot cheaper, and it'd be better for them, and it'd be better for the Veterans Affairs hospitals to do that, wouldn't it?
It would. Right now would appear that way. Until we get that study done and look at all possibilities, we won't really know where we're going with it. We are looking at various, you know, like bringing them to all the centers or bringing them into one. So we don't know right now.
Okay, well, that'd be interesting and something to follow. Well, anything else going on, Mike?
Well, no, I'd like to point out some things about what I've gotten from the VA this year, and some facts from the VA. In Oklahoma, there's approximately 400,000 veterans. In Murray County, there's about 1,830 veterans in Murray County. The funds generated from the VA into Oklahoma for the state is about $309 million that come from just compensation and pension from the VA. Just those two areas, not education or anything else, just comp and pension. And in Murray County, there's about $2.7 million that comes into Murray County for compensation and pension of our veterans. In our center alone, we have about $1.7 million that comes from the VA on our patients on comp and pension. I was doing these facts and figures today even. Also, in addition to their VA pension they get in comp, the patients in our center get about $0.7 million, a little over $728,000 in Social Security benefits. Then we add that to our payroll of about $3.2 million in our payroll of our center, and we're looking at over $6 million in our VA, comp and pension, Social Security that the veterans get, and our payroll. So I'm looking at, I think it's important to see this for Murray County, for our center, that we have about $6.2 million in these three areas I was talking about. And when you're looking at your turnover of your money, you know, for every dollar that's put into, you get about, what, $4 or $5 in return from other services.
Sure, yeah.
So if we take that, we're looking at about $30 million generated in Murray County from the vet center.
You know, that's just an unknown fact, isn't it? But people don't realize that until someone like yourself gets on and
I was
talks
amazed
about
when
it.
I got these
Sure.
VA figures, and it hit me that way, and I thought it was very interesting.
You know, I bet now, I haven't talked to Bob Mail or Mr. Young out at the, Mr. Ralph White out to OSD, but I imagine it's about the same, or maybe a little less, wouldn't it be?
I think that's something that maybe, you know,
Sure,
they can look
need to
at
look
and
at.
see what's generated from there, because we know the governor, and you know where he's been.
Sure.
And it's not going to stop. And he's going to continue to try, I feel, to close the centers.
Oh, yeah.
So long as he's there. But I think if people understand what's going on and that we can communicate these facts and
sure.
figures to them, that they can really see that the programs we have right now are worth it and that they are bringing money into our economy.
Well, they sure are.
I know there's another area here that in Murray County with our employment situation, we have through what we call the state accrediting agency even, which is Veterans Employment, job training, that maybe that could be utilized in the area here. That's been here for 30 years. In fact, I used to be director of that
Yeah, I
agency
remember.
before I came here. But that's another area that I feel like some of our employers here in the Sulphur and Murray area, Murray County, can look into. And if they need information, all they have to do is call us and we'll refer them to the right people.
Well, good.
But it can really help your employers here.
Just could call you out the center then. And good, okay, that's
We'd be
fine.
glad to refer them.
Good. Well, Mike, you've got a lot of things going on out there, and I know there's some things coming up, and if you will, keep us posted on that, and when something breaks, we'll just get you in and let Murray County know about it.
Okay, and then tomorrow night, for our employees and the kids, but it would be for anyone that wants to come by, that street just west of us there, where it goes, that dead end that goes to Joe McDaniel's house, we're going to try to have a little spook area in the trees, starting there, and it's going to wind around and come up to that pavilion that's behind the center there. And I think it's going to be from 8 to 9 tomorrow night. So I'll be out there in my werewolf costume.
That'll be a lot of fun. Now, this is going to be more for the employees.
Yeah,
and
for the
families.
employees and families,
Okay.
but I'm sure probably others will get the word and
Oh,
want to come
sure,
out.
yeah.
But that'll be for tomorrow night. I think it's going to be between 8 and 9.
That'll be a lot of fun. Well, Mike, we appreciate you taking time out and coming in and visit with us. And when you hear something about your new appointments out there, holler and we'll get you back.
Sure will.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Folks, as I was telling you earlier, Neil and I did get to go to several parties, and one of them was the retirement party over at Davis, and we got shots of that and be showing that to you right after this commercial message.
Telecommunications, it's rapidly changing around us. Harmon Cable Communications, serving Sulphur and Davis, is keeping up with these changes. Harmon Cable brings it all home to you with services like HBO, Showtime, the Disney Channel, the Nashville Network, ESPN Sports, the Discovery Channel, CNN News, Fox Broadcasting, WTBS, and many others. Take the advantage with Harmon Cable Communications by calling 622-2575 or 369-2659.
Never before has so much technology been applied to the marriage of meat and bun.
You can cut the time it takes to make a burger.
Shoes and convertible
You can cut the time it takes to cook one.
hamburger.
And in the end, you can cut the heart right out of a burger. All in the name of good business. Well, at Hardee's, we put a little extra care into each hamburger we serve so we can make this cut in the name of good taste. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
At Hardee's in Sulphur, we're out to win you over. Before you have a party, be sure and thank Mayo's Office Supply for all your party good needs. For invitations, printed napkins, plates, cups, balloons, centerpieces, we've got what it takes to make your party a hit. These kids are having a great time, and you can too at Mayo's Office Supply in Sulphur.
Folks, as I was telling you earlier, we did go to another party, and this one was at the City Hall right over there in Davis this morning. They had the retirement party for Charlie Ayers and Leonard Munger. Jerry Don got to come down. He told me he was feeling a little weak, but he did want to come down and see these two guys and make the presentation of the gifts. So let's watch that at this time. Folks, we're in Davis City Hall this morning with the city manager, Jerry Don Fullerton, and he's got a couple of guys here that he's going to give some watches and some congratulations. So let's get right into it. Jerry, go ahead.
Okay, BJ, Charlie Ayers and Leonard Munger, they're retiring at the end of the month, which is right now on us. And it's hard to ever say how to do anything when anyone retires. It's hard to figure out what to give them when they retire. And the people in the community, of course, they have expressed their congratulations to them and sympathies for losing them. But Charlie Ayers has been with the city for 38 years, and then his father was there before him. And, you know, at my age, I didn't know any other cemetery people but he and his father. And so for Charlie's 38 years of service, he's to be congratulated. And Leonard Munger's been with the city for 14 years. He was sheriff of this county at one time. He's been a faithful servant to the city of Davis for 14 years. He's done everything from working on the streets to help supervising. And so I'd like to present these gentlemen with a little bit of a token of appreciation from the city. And words can't express how you feel in something like this, but I know that the city is going to miss both of them. And at this time, I would like to present them their gift and let them open them up. Charlie, this is your gift, and it represents the feelings of the city, and they want you to cherish this thing, and you'll be long remembered for 38 years of service to the city of Davis.
Thank you. Here's the other deer. Charlie, I heard they wanted you to make a speech. You want to say a couple of words?
Well, I enjoyed working with the city of Davis, and if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have been down there doing it. So
that summed it up pretty good.
Sure
well, Charlie, we're proud of you. Thank you a lot for all the good service you did do. Now we got another one, haven't we, Jerry?
Yes, and by the way, Charlie had won the Municipal League Award for the city as the employee one time during his career, too. Leonard Munger has been with the city for 14 years, and like I said, he's played every part here from run and get things to do things, and he's been a very faithful worker, and we want to congratulate Leonard, and they're going to miss him around here, too. Leonard, congratulations for your service.
Leonard, I'll bet you a nickel that you don't quit coming to City Hall, are you?
I'll be back down there, probably running errands for the girls like I always have.
Yeah, I know you're going to be missed around here. We got some good watches here. If Neil can get a good close-up of that. Can you zoom in on that rascal, Neil?
On the back.
And Leonard's is just like that, now, Jerry. Go ahead.
What is it? It's on the back of each of them so that it can actually be a commemorative piece. It says Charles Ayers, 38 years, City of Davis, engraved on the back. And this is a Bulova watch, and we hope that he can remember the city with his watch.
Let's see yours, Leonard. Maybe we see what's wrote on it.
And Leonard's says, Leonard Munger, for 14 years of service, City of Davis. Beautiful watch. This is something, a watch is something that we think maybe they can keep, and especially with the engraving on it. And it's hard to really find something that would express what we feel toward these employees.
Well, that's great. I'm sure the city's going to miss them, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for coming over, BJ.
We had a very good time over there, and I'd like to thank the ladies. They had some cake and punch there. It was delicious. Everybody seemed to be having a good time, and I know we're going to miss Charlie Ayers and Leonard Munger, but knowing those two guys, they'll still be around with their finger in the pie over there trying to help if they possibly can, but the city will be missing those individuals. Folks, we had that committee meeting I was telling you about over at Ardmore yesterday afternoon. The governor and Henry Bellman and David Paulson came down, and they appointed the committee to coordinate the industrial economy development here in this area in the 8 counties. We did get a member on that board, and that is Chris Brinson. That's right here in Sulphur. He will be serving on that board. I tried to call Chris today. He's out of town. I want to find out exactly when that board will be meeting so we can keep you updated on that little program. It's they'll call this one the South Central Oklahoma Regional Economic Development Task Force, And as you know, they are planning on putting an office now down here for the region for the Commerce Department. So we'll get with Chris and see when they're going to have their meeting to decide that. I'd like to remind you also now that we got the lady in charge of the block grants, Brenda Lynn, will be with us next Monday. She's got a meeting set up here for 10 o'clock Monday morning with the city officials. I talked to Brenda this morning on the telephone, and she will be here for our 12:30 newscast that day, and she'll bring us up to date on our block grant that we have got. Plus, she'll be telling some other things about it that will be coming out of that meeting. So we'll keep you updated on that block grant if we possibly can. I'd also like to remind everybody now the American Legion, the ladies, are going to have the dinner for all of the families and the veterans and the people participating in that activity on the 11th when we have our parade here on Veterans Day. But they do need you to bring a covered dish if you plan on coming. You're more than welcome to come, but they do need you to bring a covered dish. If you'd like to call the American Legion and talk to them, they could probably tell you what they need, either a fruit or a vegetable or a meat or a dessert. But you do need to help with the food if you're planning on coming. But it is going to be sponsored by the Ladies Auxiliary. We didn't get any information on the ESPN going to be televising the OU-OSU game, folks, but we should be hearing something in the near future about that. And as soon as we get it, we will pass it on to you. Also, I'd like to remind you now that the retired and active employees of the state are going to have their weenie roast. It will be on November the 5th at 6 p.m. out at the pavilion here at the Veterans Lake. Folks, we're going to close today with some shots of the Head Start party we had out to VA this morning. They had 50 youngsters there and 17 grown-ups. So we'll just close our newscast today with some shots of these VA Center parties, and we appreciate you watching. So for Channel 7 News, I'm B.J. Fields. Thanks for watching.
Does everybody know a song? Everybody knows at least one song.
I got one and I don't even know who it is. Told you.